Good afternoon. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Community Development Committee for today, January 17th. I've been joined by Council Members Reich, Quincy, and Khanna, which is a quorum of the committee. We have a lengthy consent agenda. These are items 3 through 13. They include a number of grant acceptances, board reappointments to the Public Housing Authority, acceptance of some grants, and a number of other technical items. Are there any items, numbers 3 through 13, that anyone would like to pull for discussion this afternoon? Seeing none, I'll move the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those items are approved. We'll move on then to our public hearing agenda, starting with item number 1, which is the North Market bond issuance. Ms. Shaw, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee. You have before you a request to hold a public hearing and authorize preliminary and final approval for the financing of up to $5,750,000 in 501c3 tax-exempt revenue bonds for the Pillsbury United Communities North Market project. The North Market project consists of financing the acquisition, renovation, expansion, and equipping of a property located at 4414 Humboldt Avenue North. The property will house a grocery store, a wellness center leased and operated by North Memorial Healthcare, a community center, and upgrades to the loading dock and parking lot. The financing has been approved by Anchor Bank and will be closed in early March when construction will begin. And I have Adair Mosley, Vanan Murgison from PUC here, and Kelly Elkin from Anchor Bank to answer any questions that you may have on this project.
Are there any questions for Ms. Shaw on item number 1? Seeing none, we've been joined by Council Members Fry and Warsami. We'll open the public hearing on item number 1, which is a resolution of preliminary and final approval for financing for the North Market project. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the hearing. I'll invite anyone from Pillsbury United Communities to come up and say a few words about the project. It's a big deal, and I hate to let the moment go forward without having you talk a little bit about it.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and the council members. Really, thank you. This has been a big project for our organization, and I think us acting in a very bold way in addressing a need in North Minneapolis. We're excited to be able to bring this to fruition with breaking ground in March with a store opening the fall of 2017 this year. We've been able to leverage a lot of corporate and foundational support to bring this to fruition for North Minneapolis. And this bond is certainly helps us move towards that and gives us more secured financing if needed. We've had great support of Council President Barb Johnson, as it is in her ward, and the other members, including Blong Yang, who have been extremely supportive of this, and equally on the Hennepin County side with Commissioner Higgins as well. But I'm excited to meet the needs and close the kind of food desert gap in North Minneapolis for those who have very limited access overall to accessing healthy and affordable foods. So thank you for your support, and we look forward to having you all there in October.
Thank you. I'm going to move approval of item number 1. I'll note that Council President Johnson and Councilmember Yang are at the groundbreaking for the Thor construction project, which is has the groundbreaking right now. And I know if she had to choose, she might say this is one of the more important things she's worked on in her time on the City Council. I have been to the site with her and multiple developers more times than I care to count. It has been a goal of Councilmember Johnson and Commissioner Higgins to end the food desert problem up in North Minneapolis, this section of North Minneapolis, ever since Kowalski's closed, and I think that was like 10 years ago. I want to commend you at Pillsbury United Communities for doing this work. This is where an area of clear market failure where the city and nonprofits should step up and work together in order to do right by residents in this area. And I know if she was here, this is exactly what she would say. So thank you for your very hard work. On the motion to approve the staff recommendation, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll then move on, and thank you. We'll move on to item number 2, which is a public hearing on our licenses and consumer services agenda. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have an application by Tim Hortons Restaurant for an extended hours of operation license. They are located at 319 14th Avenue Southeast. That is in the C1 Neighborhood Commercial District in the University Overlay area, in the Marcy Holmes neighborhood in the 3rd Ward. Tim Hortons is currently a restaurant that has hours of operation that has allowed hours of operation from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. They seek to be open from 5 a.m. to 3 a.m. 7 days a week. The staff at Tim Hortons has met with the 2nd Precinct Inspector Todd Loining. They reviewed a security plan, and the inspector is satisfied with their security measures they have in place for these extended hours. A public hearing is required for this type of license. We did notify all property owners and residents within 300 feet of the premises. We also notified the Marcy Holmes Neighborhood Association and the Dinkytown Business Alliance. As of today, we received one response, and that response is in support of approving this application. Staff finds that this restaurant has operated at this location since October of 2016 without problem or complaint, and we recommend that this committee approve the application.
Any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 2? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 2, which is a new license for Tim Hortons in the Dinkytown area. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Great, thank you. My name is Paul Barron. Our office is at 5001 American Boulevard, Bloomington, Suite 955. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and fellow members of the committee. I'm Paul Barron, as I said before. I'm from Restaurant Development Partners. We're the entity responsible for building and operating the Tim Hortons restaurants that we plan to grow in the state of Minnesota. We've reviewed the staff report. We've reached out to the Residents Association as well as the Business Alliance group, and we haven't heard any feedback back from them. So we're in support of the staff report and here to answer any questions.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I happily move approval of this item. I didn't realize that Tim Hortons was such a phenomenon until it was announced that it was going to come to Minneapolis. So we're proud to have him in Dinkytown, and looking forward to some great business over there.
On the motion by Councilmember Fry, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on then to our first item on receive and file, which is item number 14. I just want to note that Councilmember Fry has an amendment, so I'll give the floor to Councilmember Fry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Brief amendment to item number 14, dealing with vacant city-owned parcels. I'm going to direct CPED staff to work together with Public Works staff to compile a list of vacant city-owned parcels that may qualify for the Community and Commercial Gardening Program and report back with a list to the CD&RS committee during the scheduled February 28, 2017 committee meeting. So that is the staff direction. And just a little background on the reasoning. We have 770 some odd vacant parcels in the city right now that are city owned, and several of those parcels, many of those parcels are not developable in some form. And that either has to do with the situation of the parcel, the size, the shape, and or the economic conditions surrounding it. So if we don't have the potential to develop it, well, let's take a step back. If we do have the potential to develop on it in the relatively near future, obviously we want to go in that direction as it improves the neighborhood, generates revenue, et cetera. If we don't have the potential to develop it, it makes sense that we find ways to incorporate urban agriculture on it. So we're going to figure out what the list that works, and so I move that motion forward. You should have the staff direction in front of you.
We do, and I'll just note, Councilmember Fry, CPED Housing has already done this.
Yes.
This is a way. This is kind of a direction to get Public Works to do
Yes,
this.
yes, is right.
I have housing staff sitting here wondering why they might be directed to do what they've already done.
You're not directed to do what you've done. Thank you for doing what you've done.
Perfect.
This is Public Works.
Okay, great. On Councilmember Fry's motion of a staff direction, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. I don't believe we need to do anything other than receive and file the report, which is what was in front of us. We'll move on to our 2 discussion items, starting with item number 15, which is 7 acquisition, doing business as 7 Steakhouse. Mr. Wilson.
Madam Chair, we have an application by 7 Acquisition LLC to be the new proprietor at 7 Steakhouse, which is located at 700 Hennepin Avenue in downtown Minneapolis. This property has operated at this location with a Class A liquor license since 2006. They are seeking a similar license now. This is in the downtown west neighborhood in the 7th Ward. The new principal owners are Ken Sherman and Rose Shiroli. They have operated other business entities in Minneapolis successfully in the past. Their application requests a Class A license for all portions of the premises, including the rooftop. The rooftop is exposed to the elements in most of its area, and the Class A license would allow live, amplified, live entertainment as well as dancing. Staff has, in the past year, reviewed the entertainment levels on rooftops in both downtown and out in the neighborhoods. And we have found that outdoor areas, especially rooftops that have live entertainment where a musician or entertainer can increase the volume into a microphone by speaking louder or yelling, has created a series of complaints. In the past year, we've dealt with dozens and dozens of complaints with rooftop live entertainment. So based on that scenario, we are recommending that the applicant receive their Class A license for all premises except the rooftop, which they would get. We are recommending that you grant them a Class E license for the rooftop, which allows the use of radio, television, electronically produced music, karaoke, and jukebox, but does not allow disc jockeys or dancing. That concludes my report, and I'll stand for any questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Wilson on item number 15? Seeing none, this is not a public hearing. We weren't sure if this item was going to get onto the agenda for a number of reasons, so we put it on as a discussion just in case, so we didn't have to notice it as a public hearing. So I just want to see if there are any other comments or questions. If not, I'm going to move approval of the staff recommendation. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. And then lastly, we'll move on to the Target Center, which is item number 16. Mr. Johnson, welcome.
Madam Chair, committee members, my name is Jeff Johnson. I am the Executive Director of the Minneapolis Convention Center, also the project manager for the Target Center renovation. And I'm here today to give a brief Target Center renovation update and then talk about some of the opportunities that we have as outlined in the request for committee action. First, the project is 38% complete, which is great to see that progress. About $41 million worth of expenses have gone into the building so far. Right now, the suite level, the new scoreboard, and the West Club are all finished, and so people are enjoying them as I speak, and the different Timberwolves games and the different other events that are at the Target Center. And those places are receiving very good reviews. We are currently working on a new loading dock, also a new elevator to help with the vertical transportation in the building. We're getting ready to put the exterior skin on and some new windows. That will be happening very shortly. And if you've driven around the building, you would have seen on the corner of 6th and 1st a very large demolition project where they've taken off that corner of the building, and that is where the signature big glass encased grand lobby is going to go. And so that will start here shortly. We do have a summer shutdown coming that will be coming in April and ending towards the beginning of October. In that shutdown, we'll be doing the bathrooms, the concourses, our locker rooms and backstage area, also the courtside club, and then finishing out that new grand lobby space. So a lot of progress, a lot of things happening over there as we continue to operate events every single day. We are on budget and on schedule. Those are great things. But every day there is complexity due to the fact that we are remodeling, and we do run into surprises because of that remodeling. And as we've worked through this project, we can see that there are additional needs that are coming forward. These needs can be accomplished in a variety of ways. Today, I'm asking for some flexibility in our contracts to leverage different funding streams to accomplish some of those desired improvements. The Timberwolves and Lynx organization is our primary partner in this project, but also AEG Facilities is our partner too. Ted Johnson from the Timberwolves is here today, and he wants to talk a little bit about what the Timberwolves are proposing to do to help us with some of those new projects and additional needs.
Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Ted Johnson. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer for the Minnesota Timberwolves and Minnesota Lynx. And today is a great milestone day, I think, for the project. I'd like to remind people, if we go back almost 6 years ago, we began the conversation with the members of, representatives of the city. And we really identified a couple of key objectives for this project. The first being, we thought we could do something really unique here and build a sustainable model for public sports facilities and arenas. And we thought that by renovating Target Center rather than tearing down, we could sort of extend the life of the building significantly at a fraction of the cost. And that's been a major objective of ours that we have continued to sort of pursue. The other objective, though, was to make sure that the renovation of Target Center was really transformational, that it wasn't going to serve us for another 20 years if we just put a Band-Aid on things and we tweak things here and there. But we thought it was critical that this project would be transformational and fundamentally change the way that pedestrians, Timberwolves fans, Lynx fans, concert goers interactive and experience the building. And as Jeff mentioned, as we've gone through this project, we've done a great job of managing the budget. And yet, as we've gone along, there have been a number of sub-projects or things that I think we all believe are really, really important to the project to make that transformational change that we haven't been able to find a way to fund to date. And so as we've gotten closer and closer and we've reached a point of making decisions, the team and our owner, Mr. Glenn Taylor, has decided that we believe that it's essential that we get some of these other initiatives or other parts of the project into the overall renovation. And so today we're coming to the city wanting to invest additional funds into the renovation. Those funds are things that all patrons of Target Center will enjoy, whether you're a concert goer or you're coming to a Timberwolves game, but we think they're fundamentally or essential to sort of the overall success of the project. Ensuring that we have replacement seats, ensuring that we don't have a bare bones Wi-Fi, but we have a really robust Wi-Fi. We think that's critical in the modern experience in an arena. And ensuring that we have a skyway off of the back end of the building. Helps how people come into the building, how they leave the building, and activate the entire south end of the arena. And we've placed on there a range because we continue to look at additional concepts and projects and initiatives that I think the team would like to get into the project. I think that all parties on the design group feel strongly that these are elements that are going to add to the overall success of the project. And so we're hoping that Mr. Johnson, the other Mr. Johnson, my brother from another mother, gets the ability to sort of work with some of these additional funds and bring them into the project to make it an overall success. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff, can you just highlight, I've had a lot of questions about, is more public money going into this project? And I know the answer is no. I guess maybe you could explain the sales tax refund issue. We've spent the money and now we're just bringing it back to the project, and maybe explain the energy efficiency rebates also.
Madam Chair, yes, the city's funding will stay the same as far as what we have bonded for. But what we knew going into this as part of the state legislature gave us the ability to go back in and ask for a sales tax to come back to the project. This, now that we are to that, we had to get to $40 million in expenses. As I mentioned earlier, we're at $41 million. So we're able to put in that first information to the state to try to get some money back. Once that money starts flowing back in, it will go over our budget amount, our contract amount. And so this gives me the flexibility to take that money when it comes in and reuse it into the project. Estimate anywhere between $1.5 to $3 million, but it's hard to get our fingers on it right now because we don't necessarily know what they will give us refunds on, hoping obviously for that larger number. And then as we go into the project and start to replace a lot of the 1980s technology that's in the building, we are seeing that we're going to have the opportunity to get some energy rebates back from local utility providers, especially when it comes to lighting. We know that one of the projects that we just completed on the Skyway, or I'm sorry, the suite level, will be six figures probably coming back into the project. We know there will be others that come. And so we want to be able to use that money as we get it back and put it back into this project. And so really what we're asking for today is just flexibility. Flexibility that any partner that we have, the state of Minnesota is wanting to partner with us on the new Skyway. So as we find new partners that we can use that money to come back into the project to make the project better. But the city of Minneapolis will not be bonding for more money going forward.
Okay, so I mean, anyone in the media can do the math. So the project cost was 128.9, now it's going to be about 150. The city's not putting any more money in, so that obviously means the Timberwolves organization is putting in a mass majority of the more money, because the rest of it is just basically spending our sales tax on sales tax and now spending our sales tax on other project costs, and same with the energy rebates.
Madam Chair, this is a good day.
Yeah, so I wonder why the announcement didn't say Timberwolves invest almost 20 million more in project, instead of this kind of like, well, I don't want to tell you the exact number, we're not exactly sure, just say it. The Timberwolves organization is investing almost $20 million more in the project to get these three components that they believe are important for their fan experience. And AEG and the city will benefit as a result of all users using Skyways, Wi-Fi, and new seats, correct?
Madam Chair, the number is probably not quite the $20 million. So it's probably, I think what we're saying is $10 to $15 million is what the team is saying right now is what they're able to say yes to now. This gives us some flexibility if they want to increase that. It gives us some flexibility if other partners want to come in. Gives us some flexibility if for some reason these other rebates come in at a higher mark, so that I don't have to continue to come back to council. But yes, it is a great day. The Timberwolves are a great partner. They are coming into the fold to make sure that the Target Center is a great place for years to come.
So we're moving more towards a 50-50 deal.
Chair Goodman, it will be closer. I looked at the percentages at one point. It won't quite be 50-50, but it will be, I think we'll be within 6 or 7 percentage points as far as the amount of money, total amount of money that have been put into the project.
Okay. Are there additional questions for either Mr. Johnson? Okay. Seeing none, I'll move approval of the staff recommendation. Essentially, what you're asking us to do is accept money from other entities to go into an asset that we already own on behalf of the taxpayers. I'm all in favor of doing that. On the motion to approve the recommendation, Councilmember Frye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just briefly, thank you for your partnership on this. I think it's been an excellent one.
On the motion to approve, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. We have one item that is postponed to a future meeting, so seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned.